So I'm gonna start with a bonus, just because it's fun and it's something I love doing. Whether I send this first or not is up in the air, but this is Shiokaze Tower. Also known as Kugane Tower. It is the most difficult jump puzzle in the game. Completely optional. And something of a tradition. I figure it'll be a good warm-up for me streaming, because, well, not streaming, recording, because it's been a while since I've recorded myself with the intent to have anybody watch. And it will give me the opportunity to show off both this wonderful set of daggers and some of Ninja's cool special jumpy animations, because Ninja is the only job that has a special jump animation. It is a flippy dippy. Worth noting, it does not get this in Rogue, it only gets it once you get a job stone. Which occurs after you get to a certain point in MSQ. You can then do a job quest, which will be around level 30. Oops. And in fact, all ARR jobs have something special they get out of getting a job stone. The classes, which would be the pre-30 versions of ARR jobs, tend to be a lot more basic. So I will pull up my actions and traits menu. The skills that Ninja gets outside of its job, so the rogue skills, are your initial first 3 hits of your combo. Yes, the first 3 hits of your combo, and your AoE, as well as Shade Trade, which is Emit, Hide, which Later Hide has a really cool additional use, but in a just goofing off setting, it also just makes you invisible. Uh, this was really good for when I was playing hide and seek with this one dude in his FC house, and I hid in his fish tank, and he could not initially find me because my name tag was not visible inside of the fish tank. Anyway, tangent aside, while in hide, you can use trick attack, which is your 60-second. Essentially, it's your buff for all intents and purposes. You have Mug and Trick Attack. Mug is your 2-minute window. Trick Attack is your 1-minute window. You cannot execute Trick Attack in dungeons pre-level 45 for the most part, because in order to do so, you need to have access to all 3 of your mudras. And so the base job is kind of basic, but once you get your skills, you have mudras, which you combine for different effects. If you're goofing off, or if you make a mistake, you get a cute little bunny. But essentially, they are 3 skills that form most of your other skills. They form another one of your buffs, which is Huton, which is this gauge right here. They form your single target, they form your multi-target, and they form the skill that, they form the skill that enables use of trick attack in dungeons. They also form a bind, though that is very rarely used outside of deep dungeons. Overall, these 3 skills here are Ninja's bread and butter. The basic way that Ninja plays is getting into your Huton, using the Mudra combination to enable trick attack, doing your 1-2-3 combo, and then getting into your buff window, which I will explain why that matters in a later version of this, when I'm actually doing Heaven on High. And then essentially packing as much of your burst damage into that Mug trick attack window as humanly possible. Kasatsu is also a 60-second buff. Essentially what it does is it gives you a free mudra that has a higher damage. That said, in deep dungeons, it is even cooler because, as you may have noticed during that little demonstration, whenever you use I don't usually come this way when I'm doing this. Maybe this way? Whenever you use hide, your mudras refresh. Aha, here we go. So whenever you use hide, this counter goes back up to its maximum charges, uh, and you get to do it all again. This is very important for optimizing in dungeons and deep dungeons. In deep dungeons, it gives you the ability to have some of the highest damage output of any job in deep dungeons, which is pretty cool because ninja ordinarily has a fairly underwhelming filler window. Um, but because you are pulling individual enemies in deep dungeons, you have the ability to take advantage of hide much more frequently than in normal dungeons. Now, in deep dungeons, there is also the advantage of being able to use hide to trigger your trick attack. And you also have the advantage of just being able to skip enemies that you would rather not fight through various means. So you really do end up feeling like an assassin coming out of the shadows to do a big bursty ball of damage, kill the thing, and then go straight back into the shadows. It's really freaking cool. You will see that in my later demonstrations, and hopefully it will give you an idea of how complex, intricate, and interesting this job in particular is, especially when compared to White Mage, which at level 76 still only has this many buttons, and most of them are basic healer buttons, and a couple of them are stuff it should have gotten way sooner. But I'm not going to make this about my complaints about White Mage, no matter how much I hate the job, and no matter how infrequently I play it based on just how out of date this bar is. Jeez Louise. I have made changes to the way that I arrange my hotbars since I stopped playing White Mage, and I need to fix that because this is kind of ridiculous. That said, I also hope that you enjoy the view of Kugane. It'll be a while before you get here, but when you do, I will teach you how to climb the tower if you so desire. I will also teach you how to jump off of the tower if you so desire. Because if you do it right, you get to land on this lamppost. And it's really frickin' cool. That said, I believe that's all that I have on the subject for the time being. I will continue to work on these over the next few days.